Ebullient greetings. I'm your host, Jackie Bird of Jackie Bird Spiritual Wellness, your guide to stress and anxiety relief, mindfulness, awareness, self-care, self-love, and personal growth. Welcome and thank you for joining me as we roll with peace in mind. Today's riff is Our Personal Pathways, a talk with Ocean Morisset. Ocean Morisset is a professional photographer, visual storyteller, and creative entrepreneur from New York City and currently based in Puerto Viejo, Costa Rica. Best known for years of documenting everyday life in New York City, Ocean's work focuses on quiet moments, human connection, and the poetry found in ordinary spaces. His photography has been exhibited and awarded with ongoing projects including the photo book Underground Love, a long-term exploration of intimacy and resilience within the New York City subway system. Now living as an expat in Costa Rica for 4 years, Ocean continues to create while running Casita Creole, a small jungle Airbnb grounded in community, creativity, and mindful living. Whether behind the lens, hosting travelers, or speaking about art as a form of presence and healing, Ocean's work is guided by curiosity, honesty, and a deep respect for lived experiences. Welcoming Ocean Morisset to the Roll with Peace in Mind podcast. So I am so happy to have the man. I have been looking at his feed on Facebook, and it's always so uplifting and positive, and the photographs are just amazing, and they make you want to be right in Costa Rica. So Ocean, I have to thank you for that, for providing Facebook with some positivity. It's needed.
Oh, hey, Jackie. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's really not even only social media. It's just really who I am. So
Yeah.
the fact that I'm on social media, I just to kind of extend that positivity because you're right. I mean, there's so much negativity on Facebook and social. It's as if
tiring.
people look to come and dump their stuff there. So if I can be a ray of light in someone's life in the moment, that's great.
Yeah, I do feel like I have some insight into you because of what you share about the photograph, what you share about the surroundings, and how it, even if you've never been to Costa Rica, makes you feel like you're there, like you can be in your spot looking at what you see. And that I find a beautiful gift in a photographer, because sometimes people will just post, oh yeah, I took this picture, and I'm talking about photographers, not just the casual photographer, but somebody who does it for a living. I sometimes find that they'll post pictures and it's very literal. This picture, I was looking and I saw this bird eat this bird, and that's it. But you get into the humanity of the photograph.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of my reason for part of my reason for being a photographer is to connect more with humanity, myself, and also to share that with the world in images that I photograph. A lot of the pictures that I take here or in New York City or anywhere really speaks to the human condition. It speaks to life in all its facets, even the unpretty ones. And I think that, and I appreciate when people view my work and they actually feel something.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's in that moment that I feel something. My photography is born, I think, in my heart. Then it goes to the mind, and then I click the shutter, all in a fraction of a second. So I think bringing light to the world through my photography, showing the beauty of the place, the culture of any place, and having people just pause and reflect, take themselves outside of, step into someone else's shoes for a moment, or just escape your world for a moment by looking at other images. that will, trigger something in you, an emotion, or you can connect with it in some way. Because I feel like a lot of times where there's so much disconnection going on in the world, that we're looking for ways to connect. And if we can do that, if I can do that through my photography, then I think that's a great thing. So yeah, I love it. It's just really my passion, and I'm happy to explore that actually out here in Costa Rica as well.
So were you what's interesting to me about just life and journeys and all of that is that you and I, because I've looked at your friends list, we know a lot of the same people, or we're friends with a lot of the same people. And it's just interesting to me how we probably were like doing like this when you lived here in New York. Were you born in New York?
I was born in Brooklyn, Crown Heights.
Wait, you're Brooklyn? No, stop! You're a Brooklyn boy?
Brooklyn's in the house.
Get out, get out, get out, get out! And you said Crown Heights?
Crown Heights. President Street between Schenectady and Troy Avenue.
Wait. What street?
President Street.
Dude, I grew up down the street, basically. I grew up on Park Place between Albany and Kingston.
Okay, yeah, a few blocks away.
Yes.
Same hood. You were closer to Lubavitcher headquarters on Eastern Parkway.
That's right. That's right. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I lived in my adult life. I grew up there, but in my adult life, I lived in Fort Greene. Most of
Stop.
Bed-Stuy, Fort Greene.
Where did you live in Fort Greene?
I lived on Halton Avenue between DeKalb and Willoughby.
Okay. My aunt Evie and my uncle Scott have had, because they're no longer here, they had a brownstone on Washington Park between DeKalb and Willoughby.
Right around the corner.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
So I'm Brooklyn. I'm diehard Brooklyn, and
you are. So where did you go to school?
So I went to elementary, high school, college. I went to Mr. Blackman.
Okay.
Blackman Memorial High School. That's a Catholic high school there. I was raised Catholic, and I was Catholic high school.
Oh, man.
And and then I went to Hunter College.
Oh,
and
my
then
gosh.
I left. Okay. Yeah.
I went to City College, but that's really funny. Now I've been out of Brooklyn. I moved away in 85. So how long were you in Brooklyn before? Because you were living in Poughkeepsie also, yes?
Peekskill.
Oh, Peekskill. So how?
This is Westchester County. So I was living in Brooklyn until right through the early 2000, 2005, 2007.
Okay.
That's how long. And so after Fort Greene, I did a little stint in Bed-Stuy, and then another little stint in Bushwick. And then met my partner Khalil. I was living in Bed-Stuy at the time, and he was living in Harlem. In Harlem, so I ended up moving into his place. We lived in Harlem, and then we bought a house in Peekskill, New York, and here we are now in Costa Rica, Puerto Viejo.
So first of all, congratulations on 4 years. I think that's pretty.
4 years in Costa Rica, yeah.
That's pretty awesome. So, how did you guys end up there? Had you been vacationing there before and said, this is the place? Or did y'all just go, oh, that looks good on the internet. This where we going? How'd you get there?
So, we're caregivers. We were caregivers to Khalil's mom for 9 years. She had Alzheimer's, and she lived in our home with us, and we were pretty much the sole caregivers. We had homemaids in between. But after 9 years of doing that, and she transitioned in 2020, we decided to take a much needed break vacation. We hadn't taken vacation in that period of time. So Khalil was looking on YouTube. We're looking for like one of those vacations where you just go on the beach and you just chill. You do
Yeah.
nothing. One of those vacations, no zip lining, no running here, no running there, just total chill.
I
Right?
heard that.
You know, so we came up and saw Banana Azul Hotel in Puerto Viejo. We had no idea where Puerto Viejo was, but we liked the vibe of the hotel. It was a little 12-room boutique hotel on the beach. That was what we were looking for. So we booked it. We came immediately. We kind of fell in love with the place. I mean, it was like coming into, it's like, you know, those storybook, those fairy tales you read as a child, and the scenery is always lush and jungle and over the top, and the colors and everything here is like on 3D. Everything was like hyper color, and just the piece was palpable. It was like there was a vortex here. And so we stayed for a week. We checked it out. We fell in love with the vibe. And then, you know, we came back the next year for another week. And then we started meeting some people and talking to expats. And we met the owner of the hotel we were staying at. And so just casually over drinks, was like, you guys want to see some land? And we were like, okay, we'll look at some land. And we took a tour and saw some very nice land and identified some that we would potentially like to have. But we didn't quite have figured out how we're going to finance this. So we went back to New York. This is now in 2021, in July. And then we kind of thought about it. Well, how can we get this land? I mean, we thought about it. We said, we own this house in Peekskill. So initially we thought maybe we can do both. We can have a little something here, a little something there.
Yeah.
And then we said, well, maybe not now. Maybe in 5 to 10 years, we'll save up some money and really make the leap. That 5 to 10 years turned into 6 months, essentially. We decided to put our house on the market. We decided to test the market. It was right after COVID. We lived in a nice river town on the Hudson, and we knew that people from the city wanted to come up to Peekskill. So the housing market was in our favor. I mean, as a seller, it was in our favor. And so we decided to test the waters, and the real estate agent had an open house on a Friday. By the following Monday, we had 5 offers over asking price.
What?
So that was an indication to us. You talk about alignment now, right?
Talk about alignment.
Starting to align and starting to give direction.
Yes.
And so we said, well, I guess we got to pull the trigger because we have offers on the house. And we were kind of like, okay, well, if we don't get any offers, we'll wait it out. But we got offers. And so like I said, that 5 to 10 year plan turned into 6 months.
That is so awesome. And what I love about that is, you know, a lot of us can be like timid and just, like you said, you know, test the waters, put a toe in there and see what's going to happen. But universe was just going, go. Just go. Just do it.
Just go. And it felt right. And as a couple, it was important that we were both aligned. I think that anybody considering this, and if you're in a partnership, that you both have to be on the same page. Because I've seen situations out here where people come and they're partnered, but things, you know, one is not feeling it as much as the other.
Right.
You know, one is having issues, adjusting, you know, that kind of thing. But we were perfectly aligned. We were ready to get out of the U.S. We just had this nagging feeling of wanting to begin again. We didn't have a clear roadmap or anything set out. We had some ideas of what we wanted to do and how we would sustain our lifestyle out here. And so we just took that leap of faith, and we landed on our feet. It's pretty remarkable, even as I talk to you about it and I think about it, it still, in a lot of ways, feels very surreal.
Oh my gosh. But it's an incredibly inspiring story. So were you pursuing photography? I know that you have your New York series, which is really poignant and captures, as somebody who is from New York, it really captures the spirit and the things that you see. It just does that. But were you working as a photographer at that time when you were living here?
When I was living in New York, my background is in healthcare. I was a medic in the military, in the Air Force. I served in Operation Desert Storm. I was stationed in Saudi Arabia. Later on, I transitioned into civilian life where I worked in healthcare essentially all my life. And in the caregiving side as a medic and also in administration. So my most recent last job in the U.S. was working at Mount Sinai Hospital in administration. I was a practice manager for a multi-specialty department. At the same time, I was running a photography studio on the weekend, a portrait studio, and I was always doing my own personal work, which is street photography, just documenting life as it's happening on the street and creating a series of work that's taken on the subways, in Harlem, just everywhere. So I was always doing photography. Photography was just not only a means of making money for me or as a profession, but it was also something that was very healing to me as well. And so, because, in 2011, I was diagnosed with cancer, and so Hodgkin's lymphoma. And so I did the whole chemotherapy. I went that route, but it was at that time that I discovered the therapeutic aspects of photography, and where I turned the camera onto myself to create this body of work of self-portraits. Because, quite frankly, I didn't know what cancer was going to do to me. I didn't know what it was going to look like. I didn't want people seeing me in the street saying, "Oh, look, what happened to Ocean?" Be using gossip. So I took control of the narrative and created self-portraits. Also, one to document myself, for me to see myself, going through this journey, and also for others. I thought it was going to be my last body of work because I didn't know if I was going to live or die, to be honest. So I figured, okay, if I go, this will be my last body of work. But I say all that to say that photography has always been a very, very photography has been my other partner.
Yes, I hear you.
And in terms of being able to heal me and keep me centered, and also just, because let's face it, with photography, there's this thing where you come out of yourself. Whatever you're photographing, anybody, if you're photographing one thing, nothing else really around you exists. You're tuned in to that moment. So doing that enough is like a form of meditation.
Absolutely.
And relaxing and coming back to myself. So yeah, it's
wow. What a journey, man. So did you go to school for photography or take courses in photography, or is this something that has been self-discovery in the sense of learning that craft, that art?
Yeah, so I'm self-taught as a photographer. I was in a relationship. This is back in 2000. My now ex gave me a camera, a fully manual Canon AE1 camera with film and everything.
Oh,
and
wow.
So he just gave it to me, and it was a used camera, and I was like, okay. But there was something that unlocked. It was like it unlocked the world. It unlocked something inside of me. As I went outside and I started taking pictures, and I knew immediately that my favorite subject matter was people, because my neighbor had these kids. They were running around. They were joyful, and I was like snapping away, taking pictures. I shared the pictures with them, and they were like, "Oh, these are really good." I was like, "Really?" And so I really got into it. I built a dark room in my bathroom, making pictures, red light. I'd be in there for hours developing film and making prints, and I so loved that, being in the dark. And so photography, I took a real hold to it, and it sort of just had me just go off on this wonderful, amazing journey. And it helped me to see people, and it helped me to connect with people. And even though my style of photography, I like candid photography, because I feel like you can capture an authentic moment as one that is presented to you through a pose. So just documenting life as it happens, And I don't get caught up on perfection. If it's a little blurry, if it's a little unsharp, but if the feeling is there, that's what was important to me. If someone can look at a photo and be moved by it anyway, they can be angry, they can be sad, they can be happy, but if you feel something, I feel like that I've achieved something, because I feel like we walk through the world without really just we're instant. We want to like be in a cocoon. There's this feeling of disconnect, and that was very interesting to observe, especially in a place living like New York. Obviously, there's millions of people, and there's connection and there's disconnection. I wanted to find the space in between the two. What makes people connect? What makes people stay apart? What are the situations that we avoid? The homeless person on the ground.
Right.
Is it a point of curiosity, or is it a point of disgust? Like, I don't want to go there.
Yes.
So the kinds of questions and stuff that's on my mind, and things I think about when I photograph.
And again, it comes through. It really comes through, and the isolation, of oh man, because it's ironic that we do shield ourselves, but we want community so badly. It's that dichotomy of the human being at this point in time in life. It is that disconnection, but the yearning at the same time. And your pictures do capture that. That whole New York series is pretty. It's powerful, because again, somebody who sees those images in up close, just walking down the street, and then seeing it captured, encapsulated in a photograph. It's like, oh man, right on, right on. And what you said about the homeless person, you just see people just walking past, not looking, and there may be one person who will glance to just make sure the person's still alive. But right? But basically just walking. And when I watch musicians, because my partner's a musician, so I have an empathy and a soft spot for musicians, and I'll see, people playing in the subway, and just droves of people just walking by, no glance at all, no acknowledgement that these people are giving you something. And we're so disconnected in so many ways. And I think your photographs, and that was one of the reasons I really wanted to get you on here, because I just feel that your work is so important to the human condition, speaking to the human condition, and connecting us at the same time. That's powerful, when you can make the comment and connect the viewer to it through your lens. That's like, whoa. Whoa. Wow. Okay, so needless to say, I enjoy your feed, on social media, and the stories you tell, because you tell stories through your photos. You are a storyteller.
Yes. More than a photographer, I consider myself a visual storyteller. I think that's a little broader in terms of what my intentions are. Yeah.
Yes, that fits. So, you guys, 6 months, you're on your way. Universe is like, you going now. You get offers over your asking price. So then what happens?
Then we gotta pack up all that shit that we accumulated, get rid of it, sell it. At the point of the selling, that's what we had done. We had spent, so now we had 6 months from the point of deciding to sell the house to actually now, like, getting rid of our life, period. Resigning from our jobs. Khalil worked at CUNY as a counselor. He's an educator as well. And we had to resign from our jobs. So you have a house now. We had a fairly large house. I think it was like 2,800 square feet.
Oh, nice.
Just just the two of us.
I think I lost you. What happened? Come back. Continue the story.
Welcome to the jungle. So anyway, we had to get rid of it. We had collected so, and you don't realize after years of living someplace or hauling stuff around throughout your life, you realize you have all this stuff. So we had to get rid of a lot of stuff. But that was the next step. Just getting rid of things and closing stuff and ending, a lot of stuff. So so we flew to Costa. We also shipped our dog. We had to make preparations for our dog, Jax. We have a little Jack Russell Terrier, and we had to coordinate. He had to get shots, and it's a very elaborate process to try to get him to Costa Rica. Getting shots, getting paperwork. It had to be very specific within a specific time frame. 10 days before your flight, that's when they can sign off on it, and it was also costly. to say the least, to ship our dog out here.
Wow.
That was the process. Really just ending things in the U.S. and sort of jumping into this new life here that we were just going to go and decide to just manifest, just kind of create from there, blank slate.
Good grief. You're packing up your life. You're closing a chapter. Where did you guys stay when you got there?
And we had a rental. We arranged to have a rental. Not too far in the neighborhood. Then we had purchased the land. I told you about we purchased the land. Getting the land was purchased after we made that second trip as tourists, and we stayed for that 1 week. That's when we decided to purchase the land. We said we could put up we can use some savings, and then we had the sale of our house that we would use for our project here to build. So that's how we sort of financed it. But when we got here, we stayed at a little rental. It was cool, it was nice enough. It was AC hot water, so had a washing machine. And from there, we just, we met with the architect. He drew up plans for what we wanted to do. And that was all then the process became very exciting. At the same time, there was a lot of, uncertainty. I mean, obviously, we're in a new country.
Yeah.
We don't fluent in the language. So one of the things that I think we did that was really a smart idea in the beginning was we hired a translator. As we went through with the architect, with the builder, so that nothing lost in translation.
Right.
We're not fluent in Spanish. So that was very helpful. Because I speak a little bit of Spanish, but I can't communicate to a builder about sheetrock and about building material. Duolingo doesn't teach you that. We built the guest house first, so now this allowed us the opportunity to leave the rental. Now we're not paying rent or mortgage anywhere. So there's financial freedom there. So we can stop paying, because also, let's face it, we came with a certain amount of money from the sale of our house. So now it's like, okay, well, you're in a place now where you're really watching your expenses and costs because we hadn't, had any business going or anything like that really yet. So we're living off of this as well as building.
Interjecting here like a captain does on a flight. Turbulence, meaning that the sound in this next section is a bit bumpy. My apologies.
Talk about leap. That's not even a leap. That's a jump. That's
a dive. That's like a free fall.
That's a yes.
Just catch me. But that's why they call it a leap of faith.
Yes.
You gotta have faith. We went through that. The building process was seamless. We had a great crew from Nicaragua. We found our builder simply by going to a friend's house. The first kind of friend we made here in Costa Rica, she's a black expat. Been living here for 18 years. So she knew the lay of the land. She knew everything. Yeah. So she invited us over for dinner. And we went to her dinner. We're like, this place looks nice. Who built this? And she gave us the name of the builder, and that's how we got it. So that's how we got the builder. And so things were just aligning. Everything was flowing like the river.
Yes.
We've heard such horror stories about building in Costa Rica, how people try to scam you on your money, or they say they're builders, but they're not really good or whatever. We had no problem whatsoever from beginning to end. Not one hiccup, not one question that we doubted ourselves, or maybe we questioned our decision. Never did that come into play. So again, we felt like that this is really for us at this time in our life. I mean, it's kind of funny because just 4 years, like maybe 2 years prior to moving here, Costa Rica was not on our mind at all. We had never been to Costa Rica. We had not even thought about really relocating. Only one time we kind of had a thought, maybe, when we retire, maybe we'll retire in New Mexico or Arizona. We visited those places. I love Santa Fe, New Mexico, and I love Sedona, Arizona, especially. But it was too dry for Khalil. The altitude was actually having nosebleeds. So we couldn't, so we decided this would never work. And plus, we also knew something about that we both enjoy, is that we both wanted to be by water. So now we live 10 minutes, 12 minutes walking distance from the Caribbean Sea, so, and we happen to love the ocean, because when we lived in Peekskill, we loved the beach, but it would take us 2 hours to drive from there to Dones Beach, to a nice beach, right? So now we live by the sea, and which is really a blessing, because at any time of the day, I in the mornings, they take the dog out, do some meditation there, or sometimes when I come back from the supermarket, I get around on a scooter. So when I come back from the supermarket, sometimes I just pull over and just take a quick dip, and then go back home and with the groceries, and it's just that type of lifestyle that
awesome. That is awesome. You said something earlier that I think is really key in terms of, you're doing something with a partner, and it's really important that you both are on the same page. And it's important that you're both on the same page, and it's also important that each of you are honest with yourselves and with each other, because sometimes folks are like, I want to go, and they don't really want to do it, but they're trying to please the other, or they're trying to not make waves, or whatever that deal is. And then it gets to a place where they can't not be honest anymore. And that's what helps things blow up, in a relationship. And so it's so important for people, first of all, to be honest within yourself, because you can't be honest with another person until you really know what's going on with yourself. And so if you have two people that are doing that, and they're clear about what they want, at least in terms of the essence of it, then it makes things go really well. And that sounds like what the two of you have in terms of being in alignment with each other, so that this experience that you're jointly having can be what you're describing and what I see in the photos, man.
Yeah, I think that, relocating, picking up your life and relocating to a foreign country is really jumping into an unknown kind of thing, right? So it's not just geography. When you relocate and you leave, you go from the known into the unknown, it will challenge you in every single way. I'm not saying we weren't challenged. I mean, there's the one thing that's prevalent among everything. It's the umbrella. There's the excitement of moving, of taking that step. But then you need to be prepared. But there's really no preparation for someone that's coming from the known to the unknown in 6 months, because you're busy closing that out. But we weren't preparing ourselves for what's to come. One, because we didn't know what's to come. It's all experiential. It's all, once you put your feet on the ground, then you kind of get, okay, because there's a difference between coming here for 1 week like we did as tourists and living here. And that's where people become challenged. Fortunately for us, what we felt when we came as tourists continued to be true as we live here. The
Oh, that's
energy,
beautiful.
the kindness of the people. One of the things I love the most is the kindness of the people, how helpful they are, the Tico people, the how accommodating. I mean, they don't have much, they will give you the shirt off their back kind of thing. So very salt of the earth people. And so where was I going with that? Oh, but you have to be, it will challenge you. Coming out here, now you're coming into this paradise where it's peaceful. Birds greet you in the mornings, bird song, howler monkeys, all this stuff. Now you don't really have as many distractions as you did when you had your former life in the US, because it's constant distraction. Now you're at a place where it's still the environment. You'll feel it. But at the same time, here comes the mirror, that will show you things about yourself that if you're not prepared to look at, and you're in a relationship and one partner is willing to look at the mirror and the other wants to kind of hide away from it, that's going to create some problems. And these are just like from stories I've heard from couples, and I'm using a lot of metaphors, but the mirror and all that, but you know what I mean? It's like you come out here, it brings stuff up because now you're settled, especially after our building process. We got into it. It was a busy time, but after comes like the reality of like, oh shit, we're here.
Right.
we made it. We made something happen. On the other hand, it's like, oh shit, we're here.
What do we do? What do we do now?
In our country, we don't speak the language fluently. So all those little kind of realizations start to come in, and then you start to feel the fullness and the reality of being here. In the beginning, it could be like a honeymoon, like anything else. Yeah, this is great. The weather's good. I'm going to the beach and all that. But then when you live here, you start to realize how expensive groceries are. Groceries is not something you care about as a tourist. You go in a restaurant, you're buying drinks, you're doing that. Now you're living here, you're doing grocery shopping, for the household. And so you realize groceries are really pricey here, especially if you want, I would say it's on par with the US though, in a lot of ways. Maybe even in some cases a little more, which is really surprising to me. Then you start to realize the day-to-day. Some people may not want to be in a hot and humid environment 24/7. It may be uncomfortable. Although as you know, there are other parts of Costa Rica where you can go to cooler climates in the mountains. But so that's why you have to be sure about the area you choose. Costa Rica has something for everyone.
Sure does.
What you want. We wanted that kind of beach life, this bohemian vibe. It's very laid back here. It's very just ultra chill in Puerto Viejo. And so that's the kind of experience that we wanted. We didn't want to be in a city like San Jose, number one, because we're from a big city. We wanted something completely the opposite, something that would promote a really wonderful and healthy lifestyle. So we're in nature, there's medicinal plants, we're growing fruit on our property, that kind of thing. And so, it's just something that's just not geography, going from one place to another. You may be missing your friends, your family. If you have children or grandchildren, you may be missing them. That connection, that bond. Bonds are not, people here are friendly and open, but, depending on your personality and who you are, that will dictate how your bonds are formed. Are you an outgoing person, or do you like to just be in your space? And either one is fine, but you have to decide, what kind of life am I going to have now? What do I really want? And the beauty about all of this is that we are all just creating from scratch. We are all starting anew. So whatever it is that you want to do it. Manifest. Be it. I should be doing this. I should do that. And by all means, when you come into Costa Rica and you do a relocation, don't just jump into anything and everything. Take time to shed old layers. That's going to be here or any country you go to, because as Americans, all of us, we have this sense of entitlement, and it's apparent. It's apparent how when you go into another country, especially a developing country.
Yeah. It's apparent.
And-
I know that I have been places. I was in Mexico some years back, and I was so embarrassed to be from the US because of the behavior that I was witnessing from folks from the US, the entitlement and the looking down upon these people. And it's, as you said, with the Ticos in Costa Rica. We were staying in an area in Cozumel in the island that they weren't wealthy people. They were working people. They were very humble people, but they would give you the shirts off their back. They were very warm and loving. And I remember being in a fast food joint at the time, and this guy walked in like, serve me, and I had gotten into a conversation with the server behind the counter who spoke English. And so we just got into this conversation. We were talking like we had known each other forever. And that irritated the guy that was behind me. And so when he came up to order, he was just so condescending, and I just cringed. I was like, oh my God. So the entitlement that we roll with and I've stopped using the term Americans because there's a South America too, and there's a North America that's outside of the US. So I have become more cognizant of that term Americans. I say the US, I just see how, as you said, the entitlement, it's really unfortunate, and it gives us a bad rap when we travel. Because they're already reeling from the policy of this country. Their countries are reeling from policy decisions and entitlement decisions that we in this country are unaware of. And so when we get to these places, like, people always go, the French are so rude. They don't like if you try to speak French. That was not my experience. I destroyed the language. And I remember being in a restaurant and the server was crying, laughing so hard at how bad I was destroying the language. But the fact was that I tried. So they appreciated that, but we have these, people, when you travel, be mindful, be kind. And where you live, be kind. Because you were talking about the fact that you don't have the distractions, and now you are faced with yourself. And living in the city, in this country, there are so many distractions, and we don't want to look within. And that's why we're falling apart, because we won't look within. You mentioned knowing what you want, the kind of life you want. That's a question we all should be asking ourselves at every point or transition that we get to. What is the quality of life that I want? Not the stuff, not the car and the house and the this and the that, but what is the quality of life? And if we actually stop to ask ourselves that, just to check in, we could avoid a lot of stuff.
Oh yes. and look, and really the relocation thing for me especially, I look at it as an opportunity just to sort of stretch. And I mean stretch internally.
Yes.
And expand my mind, my spirit, my heart, my love, all of that. Because one, there is room to stretch. We can breathe here. There's so much nature. There's, so it's to me, it's really about healing. It's about becoming.
Yes.
Again and again, because when it's something is new, you're always becoming.
Yes.
Even though I don't know what my life is going to look like in 3 years. I don't know. I mean, I know what what I'm doing now, but I don't know what's coming ahead. Anything can. So there's that part of me who, when I lived in New York, there was a kind of like I was always on to the next thing, and I always kind of had some direction of what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go. I don't have that same kind of clarity here, and I think that's a good thing. I think because it's teaching me to just be still, stop thinking about all of that stuff. Like, what's next? What are you doing? What are you being productive? Overly productive? Just be still.
Yeah.
And allow yourself this time to become. And that's it. And that was it was challenging in the beginning, but that was a real lesson to me because again, you're coming from a place that thrives on productivity.
Right.
And especially in the workforce. It's always about more, do. You're getting paid less, you're short staffed, you're doing 10 people's jobs, that kind of thing. So here it's really about learning how to recenter, learning how to be okay with stillness, learning how to be okay with peace, because I've seen people come out here and trip and really say like, wow, this is too quiet. It's too peaceful. What is too peaceful? Like, brother, like really? So there are many reasons why Puerto Viejo in particular wouldn't work for someone, but Arenal might, or the Korean Peninsula might, or, but we chose here and so far it's been really, really working out for us 4 years into it.
I think that's awesome because that's the other thing. How many people do you talk to that are actually at peace in their life and actually happy in their lives? You don't really meet a whole lot of people, that can say that. And to get into a place like that, you serve as a beacon for others that want it, but don't really know how to go about it. And a lot of it has to do with reflection, inner reflection. And, people are afraid to be still because I see people here, and it's like, you sit on the train, you're sitting opposite people and you see the leg just going up and down. And like, sometimes I just want to like go, like just put my hand on their leg and just go,
yeah,
because it's such a disconnected action where this leg is just going, but it's all that nervous energy because, as you said, a lot of people feel that they always have to be doing something. And if being still is doing something too, but they don't look at it that way. You're sitting with yourself. That's frightening for people because they don't know. They're afraid of what they'll unearth. And the thing you will unearth is yourself with being still, is you will get more info on what really makes you tick, and you may not need as all the trappings that you think you need.
Yes. And on that note, I learned since moving to Costa Rica, learning the difference between what I need and what I want. And that was huge because, back in the US, I want something, I want this, I want that. Let me just get on Amazon.
Right.
Let me just go down to the Walmart or whatever and buy it, buy, that consumerist, capitalist sort of thing. That we sort of all are indoctrinated into that system. It takes a little bit of undoing here. It takes some real also looking at how I view money. Now we're more or less, Khalil is retired. He's receiving his pension. We have our business, our Airbnb. I'm doing photography and stuff. So that's kind of how we make money. But I had to really sit down and view money differently. I was working, making good money back in the US. We both were, but now it's a little bit more fixed. And so naturally you have to kind of, weigh, how important is this? How, prioritize. We go through this constant for everything, do I need to buy wood this week to build something else that we want on our property? Or is this money going to be good for groceries or a trip or, So you have to kind of start to budget a little bit better. and as I sort of been reestablishing myself here, I've been doing some good photography. I do a lot of portrait work with tourists and people who come in, who visit, and they want those beautiful pictures on the beach and in the jungle, that kind of thing for their social media or whatever. So I've been doing some of that. I've been teaching as well, in person as well as online, how to use your smartphone to take better pictures. Because a lot of travelers come and a lot of people, we all have a smartphone and we all like to take great pictures, but I see a lot of mistakes that people make, and that they can take better pictures just by learning how to use it better and how to sort of own your eye. And I also teach therapeutic photography online, which is simply really talking about how to heal through photography, and using mindfulness and things like that. And I'm having a retreat this August coming up. It's a sort of based in therapeutic photography, but it's going to be centered also around the African, the Dia del Negro. It's a day they celebrate. Think of Black History in the U.S. It's sort of Black History Month here in August. And there's these 3 beautiful parades going on, and color and melanin and Black folk and culture and all.
Yeah.
And so that's happening in August. So I've been, sort of now figuring out, like, I'm still now 4 years into it, and I'm still kind of like, okay, how do I build from here? How do I continue? One of my things was coming out here to expand as an artist, to really live as that artist now. I can create what I want to create, do what I want to do. I don't have to worry about putting so much time and energy into corporate, and I can me. And it's really a blessing to even be able to say that. And it's something I don't take for granted. Every day I wake up, I open my eyes with gratitude. And I just can't believe it that we made it here, and that we're making it work, and that it feels good. It feels good. And so, yeah,
one of the reasons I find your journey so inspiring for so many different reasons, the beauty that you create and that you share with us, the leap of faith that you took, and going from something that's known to something that's unknown. There are people that want to do that, but when they hear stories of people actually doing that and thriving, that's sometimes what they need to get going. Please tell people. It will be in the show description, but you were mentioning your workshop that's coming up in August and the online classes that you teach. How do people find you?
If you have questions, you can WhatsApp me. My number is 506-6242-1891. It's 8 digits. It is not a mistake. Costa Rican numbers have 8 digits. But also, my Instagram is at Ocean's Tide, OCEANSTIDE. And I'm on TikTok as well. So you can find me there. And Facebook. Facebook is Puerto Viejo Through My Eyes. That's my photography page.
All right. Well, folks, you got to see the man's work, and you have to. If you're going to be in Costa Rica in his area, you have to book him. I'm not going to be anywhere near him, but when I go,
if I end up over there.
Well, I hope you do, because I'm like, I want some pictures. But anyway, I thank you so much for sharing your journey, your knowledge, your experiences with us. And I'm just wishing you and your partner more expansion, more joy, more thrive, and all that good stuff.
Thank you so much, Jackie. It's been really great being here with you. You're a great interviewer. I love your spirit.
Thank you.
Just keep spreading love and joy. And thanks again for having me.
Thank you.
And if anybody wants to reach out to me, feel free. Don't hesitate. If you have questions, you want a photo shoot, you want to book my Airbnb.
That's right. That's right. Thank you.